Hello, Internet. This is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Core Hall Sky Island Ladder Edition to bring you another StarCraft 2 shoutcast kind of thing. That rumbling in the background you hear is my partner in semi-crime, Nav. How you doing over there, buddy?
You won't like me when I'm hungry.
That's a good movie. I agree with that. Incredible Hulk remake with Edward Norton. Great flick. The players today are going to be Gregory spawning as the red Protoss. His opponent is going to be Cerberus, the blue Zerg. Already starting off with a cute little extractor trick to give himself that mining production in a drone advantage. Already we see Gregory starting off that forge, fast expand, so both of these players are platinum, so they're pretty much going to have this basic grasp of unit composition, build orders, and all that other fun stuff. Since Gregory is already starting off with that Forge Fast Expand, Cerberus not really building anything quite yet. What do you expect out of these two players?
Well, I expect most likely a Forge Expand out of our Protoss, especially since we got that forward pylon already down there in front of the natural, kind of getting ready to wall off here. With our Zerg player, he could either go for some kind of two base Roach, Ling, Baneling type of thing, or take fast three bases and go for some heavy tech.
And we'll find out as soon as we see that at what time that second base goes down, and then if he continues to drone up, take a third, we'll see a longer macro style game. And one of Zerg is very heavily favored towards that Hydralisk Roach type of kind of play that's really confusing a lot of Protoss up until I would say 2 weeks ago when they started going into heavier Robotech with quicker Immortals, quicker Colossi. Kind of thing going out there and hitting around the 9-10 minute mark when we already see a little bit of a pylon block going out of Gregory, delaying that natural third. And look at this, the third expansion is quite far away for a Zerg player, and this actually favors a Protoss player quite well.
Yeah, Protoss or Terran really, because think about it, you can swing along this way, but this map has no Xel'Naga watchtowers, which, truth be told, I kind of like how they really went away from the Xel'Naga Watchtower style of thing. Having one worker on a Watchtower to see over a huge main pathway is, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit easy mode, so I really like the fact that they kind of changed it up. But yeah, you can run along the outskirts with Hellions, with the faster Warp Prism. You can do some more shenanigans. So yeah, that third base being far away is definitely not going to be easy on the Zerg here.
And right now his natural third is being morphed in halfway done, and something interesting that Gregory is actually doing, I think he completely walled off his main base with a double gateway, so expect to see about a 7 maybe 8 gate timing push coming out of Gregory. He needs to put down this Nexus down as soon as possible. He actually put down another pylon, and it's just so unnecessarily really, he was still 6 probes away from getting pylon blocked, but if he's going to start cranking out a lot of these zealots, it might actually work. We've actually seen this sort of thing happen before where the Protoss started chrono boosting out the Zealots, and here we go, 2 Zealots already on the field, so he's going to go on with early Zealot pressure, something that Naniwa really did, I think at DreamHack not too long ago, where he did early Zealot harass off of 2 gateways, and then followed up with even more, 7-8 gateways as soon as he got his economy up and running. So hopefully this is what happens, since I am a Protoss player at heart. Already 4 Zealots on the field and not very much in the way of defense for Cerberus at the moment.
Yep, just cleaned out the pylon at his natural expansion here, so he is going to go ahead and grab that as well. So it is a fast 3-base play, which generally they don't, you don't really get gas for that, but since based on the circumstances, go ahead and getting that spawning pool a little earlier and getting Ling speed out, definitely not a bad thing. Yeah,
and he's actually floating 200 gas. He's not using it quite yet on that metabolic boost, and he's pulling out another Queen 4 defense, and here come the 3 initial Zealots, followed up by 2 in reinforcement, but that Overlord placement was great by Cerberus. He already knows that it's coming. He gathers up his Zerglings along with his Queens. With some decent micro, Cerberus will be able to hold and not lose anything of importance. Here come the 4 Lings. Here come the reinforcement Lings, but with 5 Zealots, this could actually spell a little bit of a trouble. As Lings actually gets around on those 3 Zealots, manage to take them down fairly easily. Here come 1 Zealot, managed to go down, and a second one does, and now it's just going to be a Queen versus 2 Zealots. Zealots are going to win. 2 Zerglings are going to go ahead and try to catch up with the Queen. Cerberus manages to misclick, loses that Queen, but the Zerglings do finally get us around on the Zealots. Already 7-8 kills per per Zealot, and the damage has been done. Gregory did exactly what he was doing. He did lose plenty of units. He lost, I think he was 5 Zealots right off the bat. Or 6 Zealots, I would say, especially looking at the units lost tab. But he did what he wanted to do. He used, made Cerberus use up a lot of larva for those Zerglings and managed to pick off a queen. So all in all, I would say a win for Gregory.
Indeed, indeed. Because forcing him to pump all those Zerglings that's obviously resources. That's larva that could have been for drones. Like for right now, the Zerg player is only at 20 drones. He could have, at this point in time, he could have easily been, you know, low to mid 30s at this point. So the drone count has already been greatly affected. Isn't even mining it at the base that was up long ago at the 3rd, and this natural expansion here nowhere near saturated at this point. And he really didn't need to make these Zerglings here, but I'm guessing those were, you know, for defense in case of any kind of follow-up. Speaking of, we got 3 Zealots walking across the map, but since it was pretty much an even trade, except for the fact that the Zerg player wasn't able to make drones and he lost those resources and some of those lings, that did definitely put the Protoss player ahead. So I really like that play.
Yep, and here it comes, those 3 Zealots. They're going to get surrounded. They're going to get taken care of very quickly, especially with that queen pecking away from a distance, so not that much damage. Gregory, at this point, he really just threw away those Zealots. He really could have just saved them all for the initial push that he wanted to get. And speaking of which, Cybernetics Core, Warp Gate, just a little bit late. He's already getting +1, so that's great on there. Double assimilator on that natural expansion. So he's gearing up, I should say, wow, and a Stargate. So a little bit of a variation on the normal play that that I've seen out of pro players like Naniwa, and just I've seen just around the StarCraft 2 scene. Looks like Cerberus is just going around the map trying to pick off any forward pylons, which is great. I love that Cerberus is just using these units for something other than just sitting at home waiting to receive any sort of attack by Gregory. And right now the food count is actually favoring Cerberus, even though he did take plenty of losses with larva and Zerglings. But now it looks like both players are just going into heavy macro mode, and depending on what comes out of this Stargate, double Stargate, so I expect to see Void Rays coming out of these guys very quickly.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to see some Void Rays here. I mean, we are seeing +1 missile and +1 carapace being researched, and that Rocheworm being done, but no real true AA right now, other than some spore crawlers. So we could see some kind of Void Rays, Zealot type of attack coming up here, hopefully from our Protoss player. But you know, who knows, especially with just the way this game's gone so far.
Yeah, and he's actually deciding to build out 2 Phoenixes. I mean, they do build rather quickly. I mean, 35 seconds to build, but with that Chrono Boost coming out at just over 17, so the same time it takes to make a probe, you can make a single Phoenix, and he is just churning them out, and he's going to be able to pick off these Overlords all around the map at ease. But what I noticed is what Gregory has been, or Cerberus has been doing, I should say, is just droning heavily. Now looking at the harvester count, we see 57 harvesters for Cerberus, along with 2 spore crawlers at each of his bases. So he had an inkling that he was feeling that some sort of air attack was coming, and he was correct. And he gleaned that by noticing that the attack was just pure Zealots. He didn't see any Stalkers. He definitely didn't see any Sentries. So all that gas had to go somewhere. He assumed for air. That's why he got those Spore Crawlers, or maybe even some Dark Templar. And Spore Crawlers obviously look at cloaked units, and now roaches are being built. So Cerberus feels very safe, very secure at the moment, and this Zealot is poking around, seeing what he could see. And a Scouting Zealot. Wow. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, they are a Protoss mineral dump, but the thing is, they don't really make good scouts because of the fact of how slow they are. The Zealots have probably the slowest base speed of any of the tier 1 units for any race, so not really something you'd want to ideally use for
yeah,
that.
no, definitely. And right now we see a Twilight Council being built more than likely for those upgrades, since if he does just try to go into a higher tech tier of Dark Templar, High Templar, he's not really going to have the gas to support High Templar, Dark Templar, plus these 2 Stargates. And now, after amassing himself quite a fleet of Phoenixes, he's going to start building out those Void Rays. So combination Zealot air attack combo is going to be quite potent, especially if Cerberus is caught unawares.
Yes, I'd definitely like to see him get Zealot leg charge though, because if you're going to use your Zealots as a mineral dump, might as well give them the upgrade that makes them just that much more effective.
And right now it looks like Cerberus did try to take his 4th base, but Gregory there with those Zealots to block that. And at the same time, we see him scouting around with Hallucinated Phoenix, just checking out to see exactly what his opponent has in store for him. Overseers are on the field, Roaches, and so Gregory currently only has Zerglings and Roaches. He's not really going up into any kind of tier 2, tier 3. He's getting an infestation pit. He has a spire on the way. Dark Shrine being built currently by Gregory, and he's cut that pro production quite a bit. So this is all or nothing right here for Gregory.
Yep, he's just building up an attack. And what I'd really like to see is just some kind of, get yourself out of Mothership Core, throw down an expansion, kind of camp on it a little bit. Your main. Just block off the main. You got a sentry there. You got a couple cannons. You should be able to defend it fairly well, especially since even if you leave a couple Phoenix there on top of that, he has nothing to really hinder them.
Yeah,
so.
And right now he did try to get his own 3rd, but Zerglings there, the mass amount of Zealots are going to go ahead and push forward, churn away at these Zerglings. These are just caught out of position. These Roaches go in and catch these and just kind of do a little bit of a hammer pincher kind of effect with the Zerglings and the Roaches. Gregory could be in trouble, especially since the Zealots are pretty much the only ground army that he has, aside from these 4 Void Rays and maybe with those Phoenixes lifting up those Roaches.
Yeah, but we do have 7 Mutalisks in production, and since we already have Phoenixes on the field, these Mulisks, I feel, are really kind of a waste of money. The Corruptors could be helpful for the Void Rays to an extent, even though they kind of hard counter them, but I just feel like Hydralisks would be a much better option at this point. Get a bunch of Hydralisks together. Don't let them pick them off those Phoenix one by one, and just move in with a strong Roach Hydra push.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, Roach Hydra, pretty much very strong up against anything that really the Protoss has, unless you let the Protoss have a nice Immortal Colossi count, because the Roaches really just do plenty of damage, and the Hydras with their recent upgrade in Heart of the Swarm are pretty much becoming a staple, especially since the Infestors have been nerfed to hell.
Yes, they've been nerfed to hell, where they sit at the feet of Satan himself. Because let's face it here, everybody, we all knew it. Wings of Liberty Infestors were immensely powerful. I mean, they had an 8-range instacast fungal. Infested Terrans used to actually scale upgrades from their ground. And, well, I guess Neuroparasite has seen better days quite a long time ago. But they're Heart of the Swarm Infestors, I feel like, are a lot more tight cast into the role of keeping things still with fungal and just kind of support, since now fungal lost that bonus damage to armored. Infested Terrans don't scale anymore. And I just don't like the way the Infested eggs look anymore.
So, the nail on the coffin, the cosmetic design is also killer. Here come the Mutalisks. They're going to go ahead and run headlong into these Void Rays. Plenty got taken down before anything really happened. And that's all the anti-air really that Cerberus has. And now he's going to go ahead and get picked off quite easily by this massive amount of Zealots that he has at his disposal. These Phoenixes are going to make short work of these Overseers, and here come 10 Corruptors on the field for Cerberus, but I don't know, man. This could be a very dicey situation. And here it comes.
Yeah, the Zerglings are getting chewed through here. Those Roaches are going to do well against the Zealots, but what are you going to do against the
nothing,
Void Rays?
absolutely nothing. The Archons are going to go ahead and do plenty of splash damage. Cerberus is trying to stutter step back, waiting desperately for those Corruptors, but I just feel that the Void Ray count is too high. They did use up their prismatic alignment just now, but they are going to be ready as soon as those Corruptors finally swarm in. One is going to be taken down almost instantly. Another prismatic alignment is used up. The Queen is going to be taken down. They do have 2/2 upgrades, but still, there is no anti-air for Cerberus. It looks like finally Gregory's just going to go ahead into the heart of Zerg territory. Corruptors are going to go ahead and try to pick off anything they can. No corruption being used. A mistake, I feel, since that plus 40 attack would definitely help out. And now it looks like pretty much Cerberus is out of money. Just uses it to build 28 Zerglings. Not really what you want to be doing, unless he's going to decide to do a bunch of counterattacks, trying to keep Gregory off balance while he re-macros up. But at this point, these Void Rays are just too powerful.
Yep, since he's got a couple Phoenixes and some Stalkers here, Mutalisks aren't really going to be a factor in this. Mutalisks are good against Void Rays if you can get enough of them up, which that's problem number one, is getting enough Mutalisks up. And problem number two is he does now have you know, those stalkers and a few phoenixes to provide a AA for that, and the void ray count's just
Yeah,
climbing
2
this
at a
point.
time still being churned out. He did. Looks like Gregory did manage to take his third, so he's not going to have any problems with any sort of minerals. And it looks like the Zerglings are going to go ahead and shoot through those stalkers. They get a nice surround. BoneCarlos pecking away from a distance, but still the main problem is these void rays. Plenty of kills on each and every single one of them. Finally, all the stalkers are cleaned up, but now what can shoot up? Absolutely nothing. Here come the void rays.
Yep, and there's really no reason to use that Prismatic Alignment anytime soon, just because of the fact that, you know, there's really going to be nothing armored on the field to where it would benefit from, so that anytime something actually does come up, you're going to have 9 Void Rays with Prismatic Alignment available in case he does make any Corruptors. So there's really not much you can do at this point because of the, you know, the tech path he chose. But this is not something that I would suggest any Protoss player to sit on 2 bases, pray they don't get anti.
Yes, especially yeah, it was very risky. Cerberus definitely did the wrong choice there. Hydra Roach would have just crushed this immediately. He did have a small inkling of a chance to win that fight when that 4th base was going down, but without any anti-air, the Void Rays just cleaned everything up. Hydraless there would have been the perfect answer to them. It would have knocked out all of those Void Rays while the Roaches took care of all the Zealots down on the ground. And yeah, at that point, Cerberus could have just steamrolled his opponent and they would have been game over. But now he's sitting at the mercy of all of these Void Rays, trying to transfer drones to not a good idea. Those Dark Templar are going to make short work of them. 1 swipe, 1 kill. Here come the Zerglings again, just meandering about. And this is pretty much, I think this is, I would call this at this point.
Yes, definitely. There's nothing really he can do. I mean, he's got very little mining in his main 3rd base. Does have defense against air here, but those Dark Templars and those Stalkers are just going to mercilessly
Yeah, I mean, he's got
this.
plenty of Dark Templar to just churn through all of these Zerglings. Yeah, no, it looks like just Gregory's going to steamroll his opponent. I mean, looking at the units lost tab, 303 by Cerberus, over 20,000 resources, and less than half, actually about a little over half for Gregory. So, yeah, this we even see a little sentry deciding to get froggy. I think this is the original sentry that he built. Finally going to get a kill to his name on this Overlord. Going to tickle it. Oh, he didn't even get a kill. Poor sentry.
He's like, I just want him alone.
It was down to 1 HP. Oh, man.
I would have felt robbed if
Oh, man. Well, good thing it's a little robot. It doesn't have emotions. So that was it for this replay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If not, leave comments down below on what I can do to make these more enjoyable for you. Nav apparently is perfect, so there's nothing wrong on his side of the field. If you guys have one of your own replays you'd like for us to cast, feel free to upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.sc is very popular, as is, what's the other one? SC2replays.com. Or visit Rcastit and have fun there. And wow, this hatchery also had 1 HP. So that's it for me. I am out of here. Later, guys.
I like big butts. Yeah.
Jeez.